Give us a little bit of a background on the idea for the article and kind of the genesis of it.
You see a lot of people rank the new coaching hires. Some people give grades, and we've got a staff of like 8 or 9 folks at CBSSports.com, and so we thought, hey, let's do this kind of like an AP poll. Everybody put in their own ballot, and we'll add them up and see who's first and see who's worst. Nobody knew how anybody else voted, so it's not like anybody was influenced. And then obviously when they were all compiled, I shared them with everybody. But it's kind of interesting. You never know how these things are going to turn out. You see a lot of different views. Some guys have some guys ranked in the top 5, and other people have them in the bottom 5. So it's kind of like voting for the MVP. There's no set rules. It's kind of your own mindset. What makes a good hire or what doesn't make a good hire.
Sure, and anytime there's a list, it's always fun for debate and fodder for talk radio and all that fun stuff. And when you have somebody on the bottom and he's somebody from the area like we're represented, it always causes a little bit of a stir. Just your thoughts and maybe where you ranked Coach Matt Campbell.
I had Matt. I don't have my exact ballot in front of me. I know he wasn't last. I had Bob Davie last, if that makes you feel any better. I think I had Matt in one of my bottom 5 slots, though, and I can't speak for the other eight guys that voted, but I'm guessing that probably a large part of it is that he's at a non-BCS school. He is the youngest new hire of the 26 coaches, and pretty much everybody else on the list has either been a head coach before. I know Campbell coached the bowl game, but has been a head coach before or was a coordinator at a BCS school. And right or wrong, those guys are perceived as better coaches. Whether they're going to turn out to be better coaches, who knows? It's kind of like rating a recruiting class, on signing day. You're not going to know for 3 or 4 years how good that recruiting class is. To be quite honest with you, we're not going to know for 3 or 4 years if Matt's the worst hire or if he's the best hire. But like you said, it's fun to kind of put these lists together, and obviously it generates a lot of discussion, especially when somebody from a school that you follow you feel is rated too low.
Now, I know you guys had, obviously a bunch of hires to follow, and there were a bunch of writers involved. And I know the Mid-American Conference isn't usually high on the list, obviously not being a BCS school. But I guess from this angle, from the Toledo end, you hear that he's the bottom, and then you kind of start looking at his track record, and that University of Toledo's offense was in the top 10 in the country, not just in the Mid-American Conference, but in the country in a half a dozen categories. Do you think that was a statistic that was maybe overlooked by some of your colleagues?
Again, it's hard to say exactly what they're looking at. It's not necessarily that he's the worst hire. I guess it's almost like they felt that the other hires felt were better. I guess, if that makes sense. These could be 26 great hires, but when you rank them, he was ranked last for whatever reason, and I think part of the reasons you brought up might have been determining factors in that, being from the Mid-American Conference. A lot of folks, quite honestly, don't know about Toledo, and maybe that's why he was rated that low. Again, I think youth is partly a cause of that also. But then when you look at some of the other new hires at the non-BCS schools, you've got Garrett McGee at UAB. He was offensive coordinator at Arkansas. Justin Fuente at Memphis. He was offensive coordinator at TCU, went to 2 BCS title games. So obviously Matt's got impressive credentials, but then when you just, you look at those guys, you look at Curtis Johnson, who is in the NFL for a number of years. By no means does that mean those guys are going to be better coaches than Matt, but I think that's what some of the guys maybe took into consideration when they kind of compared those guys at other non-BCS schools to Matt's resume.
Sure, and I guess you could say maybe a part of the unknown, him being his first job and being as young as he is, and not having his name out there. I would assume that went into play when ranking him towards the bottom as well.
Yeah, because really when you look at it, the folks that are ranked of our bottom 11 coaches, the majority of them are people that have never been a head coach before. Carl Pelini was ranked 20th. You know, he's defensive coordinator in Nebraska. He hasn't been a head coach except for about 15 years ago in high school. So how's that going to translate in the college ranks? We don't know. We're going to find out. But he was rated pretty low. You know, Kyle Flood took over at Rutgers, his first coaching job. Curtis Johnson, his first coaching job. Bill O'Brien, you know, almost won a Super Bowl ring Sunday. He's ranked as only 3 spots above Matt Campbell. So, you know, there's obviously a lot of factors that go into this. And hey, I guarantee it, anybody listening or watching, we will be wrong. Not going to hit all these. So, you know, there's only one way to go up for Matt, and if that provides incentive to him in Toledo, you know, hopefully good things are ahead for them. So, you know, hopefully people sometimes take these things personally. Obviously, you know, we're not trying to embarrass anybody or call anybody out, but it's just, you know, we thought, hey, this is kind of a neat deal, and instead of one person doing it, you know, we took our group of writers and editors and kind of threw it all together, and this is how it came out.
And just obviously in our area, one guy you didn't have on the bottom 11, but I'm sure we'll be looking for him, Tim Beckman going to Illinois. Any kind of preview you can give us on Tim?
Well, our number 6 through 15 rankings come out on Wednesday, and our top 5 rankings come out on Friday, and I guarantee you he will be in one of those.